I'm hopefully going to inspire you to do your work, to love your work, and see how God redeems our work. We'll start in the beginning. Proverbs 10:4 reads, lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Here's the dichotomy. Lazy hands is like the negative side of work, and diligent hands are like the positive side of work. Lazy is literally like the term for slack. We still kind of use it that way, like, oh, that kid in my group project, I'm going to have to pick up his slack, right? So the analogy is literally like a bow and arrow, where if you're stringing a bow and you pull back the arrow, right, if there's slack in the bow, there's not a lot of oomph to the arrow, and it's not very accurate. And so diligence doesn't here just mean hard work. It also means accurate work, right? That you apply the punch to where it's supposed to go. Laziness then is like not just, oh, I don't care about anything. It's also like your inability to finish work. You don't square up to the problems, and you make excuses for why you don't, right? You don't notice obvious opportunities, right? And it gets worse until you destroy yourselves and really destroy value. And the worst part of it is that it's a false god. Laziness offers you, oh, I just need some rest. I just need a little bit of comfort. And it provides none. Right? Anytime we pursue laziness, it actually leaves us with regret. Okay, so then we have a question. Why does the Bible even talk about diligence? If work is so hard and menial tasks are so annoying, why would we talk about the goodness of work? And this goes all the way back to the beginning, where the Bible actually very different than other ancient texts about work. I'll just talk about one. In Greek mythology, you have Pandora's box. If you're not familiar, Zeus gives this gal named Pandora a box, and in it holds all the calamities of humanity. And she, curiosity gets the best of her. She opens it, and literally all hell breaks loose. In the box, not just sickness, not just pain, not just famine, but also work. Menial tasks. Because to the Greek mind, the philosopher is king, and the slave is the class that does all of the menial labor. Gods would never demean themselves of doing that, and that's why they tricked humanity into doing it themselves. The Bible's very different. In the beginning, God created the earth, and when he formed Adam out of the dust. He got his hands dirty, right? The idea that God would make a paradise for humanity, right? He makes a beautiful Garden of Eden, and in that garden, he puts Adam and Eve and gives them a task, name all the animals and take care of the garden. He put work in the human flourishing. Before sin entered the world, before the destruction and corruption of all good things, there was work, and it was good. It doesn't just stop there. The Spirit of God hovered over the waters in the beginning, right? God is intimately connected to watching creation flourish. In Psalm 65, God is likened to a farmer that he digs trenches and fills the trench with water. And this means that before Karl Marx, by a few thousand years, by many years, God was representing the proletariat, if you will. God was doing the menial tasks. God was the one who was representing blue-collar work, right? That there is dignity in working with your hands regardless of the task. That's why Martin Luther, the Protestant work ethic, Reformation stuff, they say you can milk cows to the glory of God. That we believe that gardening is a spiritual act because God himself is a gardener. And that anytime we cultivate and create and make something beautiful and proclaim truth and fight for goodness, we are honoring God, that we can offer those menial tasks as worship to God, and he receives it because that's who God is. Don't miss this. Work is good. And so very simply, we want you at Fierce to do your work. We want you to do your work. But just because work can be good doesn't mean that that's going to be enough. We also want you to change your hearts. In Proverbs 10:5, the very next verse, he who gathers crops in summer is a prudent son, but he who sleeps during harvest is a disgraceful son. You might first think accuracy. Prudent son hit harvest. Maybe that lazy son, he just slept through harvest that time, but he was ready in the middle of winter or something like that. But notice that the word disgrace. It's actually embarrassing, shameful for the son to miss harvest. Why? Because harvest, even more then than now, was your whole community's lives at risk. If you didn't bring in harvest, there's a chance that somebody doesn't eat. And so you're not only saying like, oh, I'm selfish to sleep through harvest. You're saying selfish at the expense of everybody else. I do not care. I do not care what everybody else is saying. In this way,